says we lie and do not practice truth. So light is not only
light is
purity,
abstract.
Right. This idea of light is abstract, but it's not only what we were saying, like purity, perfection, holiness, but it's also complete, unadulterated truth.
Yeah.
And that is, that boggles my mind, because when I look at it, I'm like, well, it's relative, right? Because, you have your perspective and I have my perspective, but God has every perspective.
Yeah.
I
think that's a huge problem today where truth is relative to the person who's saying it. And that's my truth and that's what I grew up with and that's what I know. And you have to accept that. Well, not necessarily, because that's not actually absolute, concrete, 100% truth.
Right.
So it's not.
It's a story. It is an individual's story, right? Because their experience.
We can't take away from your experience, but it doesn't necessarily.
One experience does not create truth.
Right. And so I love how John moves from the abstract of light, which is something we can all know and understand and appreciate. And I'm sure there are elements that are not just abstract in this idea, but there's an element of reality that God is bright light. And I think that the Bible does describe that God dwells in unapproachable light. But then he moves it from the abstract of the light concept into this is what light means in this context. It means truth.
Yes.
And so if we're talking about walking into that house or walking into a space where God is living in truth, and God is the manifestation of truth. If we're talking about God is light, light's coming out of God, then what that means is truth is coming out of God. Every idea, every fact has its root in the existence and the truth of God.
And when you're talking about that house, I immediately began to think of like a body, right? Or like the mind. So if we let God into our mental homes, our mental spaces and the different compartments of our minds, his truth, his purity, his light is going to light up every aspect of our home. So if there's a leak in the roof, if there is the door is broken, or there's mold, whatever it is, his light is going to show it. There's no crevice that darkness can hide in when God steps in. And I think that that's actually kind of a scary thing when it comes to, God knowing there's nothing that you can hide. You can always hide something from someone, right? In the recesses of our minds. Right. Even as a married couple, we can say there are aspects of my emotions that I may not share, or vice versa with my husband. And I don't know unless he tells me.
Right.
But with God, that's non-existent.
Yeah. So as Christians, as someone who invites God into my life, what I need to recognize is I am inviting truth. I'm inviting light to where darkness is. So I'm inviting truth to where lies and manipulation and other forms of untruth have existed.
Yes.
And it's either that I'm going to align myself with truth, or the truth will
acknowledge my leaky roof, or say it doesn't exist and push it away. Yeah. And then deal with the consequences of that roof falling in.
Yeah.